To own the future, we need to do more than just see it. We need to make it.
Welcome to our show. Here I have with me Aydin Mirzaee. Hope I'm saying your name right. And my name is Zoya. I'm a third-year electrical engineering student at the University of Ottawa. When did you graduate from U Ottawa, for example? Just to let us know a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are, for example.
I graduated in 2006 from the electrical engineering program. So in 2006, when I was graduating, it was really interesting because there was this period of tech boom. I mean, Ottawa was specifically called Silicon Valley North.
Yeah.
For a long time, we had Nortel and we had Mayatel and Alcatels and Olatels, right? All of them were in Ottawa, and we were this telecom city, and we were it. I mean, and then the dot-com bubble burst in 2001, and it really hit hard, in particular the Ottawa tech sector in 2002 and 3 and 4, and it just it seemed like there was this weight on the city that took a while for it to actually be removed. Now, I was somewhat shielded from that because I started school in 2002. And so that stuff was happening in the background. I didn't really care about it, but there was a lot of implications. I think a lot of people at that time, they were looking for jobs, and so there weren't any. And so what did they do? They went back and they did a grad degree. And it started to become a thing that there weren't any hardware jobs, if you will. And so, a lot of us, especially at the time, getting into fields like electrical engineering, the idea was that we would be hardware designers or chip designers, and so there weren't a lot of those jobs because we were just in this place in Ottawa, which was that a lot of those jobs had been shipped overseas. And it's not like they didn't exist. There was way less of them. And when there's way less of them, the idea was that those who were a lot more experienced, they would get those jobs that's kind of the climate. And so, when I was graduating, my first inkling was, okay, well, I'm just going to apply to stuff. And then I wasn't really getting the hardware job that I really wanted. And so, then I just changed my mentality to I'm just going to get anything. And so I just started applying for things. And so I did get a job at Nortel, but it was basically as a software engineer. And I mean, that might sound okay, well, it's not a huge shift. And now
I think it is. I think it is personally, because I've seen a lot of my friends now that are in co-op as well. Most of the jobs, if you're looking for hardware, they go fast, right? There's not that many of them. There's more software and computer science and all of that, just coding in general. So a lot of people are trying to learn those languages just so they can catch up. And maybe if there's no hardware jobs, they have a backup plan of sorts.
I mean, I took this job. I was totally not qualified. Looking at maybe there's 5 to 7 items or requirements. Maybe I met one. One of the things was everything we did in Linux, right? Okay. I'd never used Linux in my entire life. I didn't even. So literally the way it would work is I'd go to work from 9 to 5, and then people would start leaving. And then I would basically start from 5 where everybody else left, and then stick around until 11 at work and teach myself all these different things. So I taught myself Linux and programming and, all this fun stuff. And then I became a software engineer. I mean, basically over the course of 3 to 4 months, I basically figured I had probably 6 months before someone figures out that I'm totally not qualified for this. They'll probably give me the benefit of the doubt a little bit. What happened afterwards is the rest of my life is all software. So yeah, all that to say is you have to be ready to pivot. There's ups and downs, and there's everybody's going to go through transitions. You can't predict when those transitions will come. They'll come several times in your lifetime. So I was at Nortel for 2 years, and then I went to start a company. So I left Nortel, and that's when I started my first company, which is called Fluidware, that eventually got acquired by SurveyMonkey. And what happened at that time was, again, it was basically the world was falling apart. It was 2008, the Great
Oh,
Recession. Yeah, and so people were like basically just, I mean, there was no money out there. So this concept of like raising money, not only was there no money, I mean, it was a recession, so people weren't buying things. So in general, like a very interesting time to start a company. But I mean, through that, we learned a lot of resilience, and we just got really good at our finances. There's a lot of good that came from that. All that to say is, like, you know, times change, and you know, you just and there will be transition points, and you just have to identify when there's a transition point, and rather than being upset about it, thinking about like, how can I actually come out of this stronger, and what do I need to do?
last thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and very nice
No
to meet you,
problem.
Julia.